Yeah, how you were saying, like, like when you let a dog, like if a dog is like resisting you and you are like, okay, fine, like, then obviously they're learning, oh, if I resist. Like, for example, like Pony, sometimes she like will not want to go in the kennel. She's just like, no, and then she'll just rear up like a horse. And like, we don't know each other that well. Like, she's sensitive. Like, I'm not gonna just be like, let's go.
So you should never go just like, let's go. Yeah. You just don't give them an option. This is it. No, leash, I pull forward, you're going in. And you go, right? Like there's no, it's not like, hey, get in there. It's like, that's the only place you're gonna get to go, right? There's no other option. I have a leash here, you're gonna go in there, whether you want to or not. I'm blocking you from backing up, and I'll push against you with my foot until in you go. Yay, look at that, you're in there. Yay, what a good dog. Close it, let you back out again, I mess with it. But there's this idea like where I can calmly say, you're not gonna, the other things aren't gonna work, right? But if you come up to the crate and your dog bucks back against it, and you go like, oh, geez, whoa, okay, gee, that freaked out. Then the dog's like, oh yeah, that works. You point me at something I don't want, if I flip enough of a fit, you won't make me do it. And that will intensify their opposition. So if a dog fights against you and you give in, it's the same thing as reinforcing, it's negative reinforcement, only cutting the other way, right? So when I apply pressure to a dog, pull a leash, poke them, push them forward, whatever it is, it's a form of pressure. And in negative reinforcement, when I apply that pressure, whatever they do to make it stop has been reinforced and is more likely to occur in the future. And so if you start to pull your dog forward and your dog bucks up and flashes in the air and bites the leash and screams and you stop, they're going to do that more. And the more it works for them, the harder they'll do it next time. So if they do that 10 times in a row and it works every time, the 11th time when you say, all right, enough of this, I'm not dealing, they're really going to fight you, like in a big way, right? And so one thing that you have to worry about when you're like, you don't want this to happen with an adult dog that you have no relationship with. This is a bad thing to have happen. So you try to set those things up because that's where you'll get bit by a dog, right? So there's a possibility if you don't know the dog and you don't have a good relationship and you go to deal with that, that's where you're going to get bit by a dog. So there's usually a relationship building thing where I find some way of managing that. Meaning I've put really good food in the crate ahead of time, I keep treats around, I'll throw their toy in there, I'll do all kinds of junk while I get to know you. But pretty quickly, as soon as the dog says, oh yeah, I know who you are, I like you, then this is something that you're gonna have to resolve at some base level. You want to do it calmly. It's not corrections. It's not, get in there, get in there. It's like, this is where you're going. Sorry. Like, I'm calm, I don't get excited, I don't raise my voice, I don't escalate the thing. There's just no choice for you to go anywhere but forward. And I have a leash, and I'll block you from backing up, and I'll poke you in the butt until you go in. There you go, yay, what a good dog, right? And if you can handle those things sort of calmly, then you don't escalate things, you don't scare the dog, you don't make the dog feel like they need to defend themselves, but you also don't give them an option for the other thing. Now that's not the ideal place to have that happen. I got a new dog, I've had the dog a day and a half, and he flips out in front of the crate. That's not the best place to work through those things. That would be better if it had happened in some other context, right? And after you had more of a relationship with the dog. But there are less than ideal situations that present themselves in dog training. We talk all the time in all of our classes about setting everything up so that you're prepared and it goes the way you want and you've done all the relationship building, but life doesn't work that way all the time, right? And stuff happens and you go, well, this is not ideal and there is no ideal solution available at the moment, and so we deal with it. We have to deal with it in the moment. And we want to minimize those things, and the more aware we are, the more we strategize, the more we plan, the more we set up our management routines to make that easier for us, the less likely that's going to happen when we don't want it to happen. But it's impossible to avoid it altogether, right? I lived for 5 years in New York City, and we have management issues when you're raising a dog in the city. You live in an apartment complex on the 6th floor. You cannot, when the elevator door opens, you have no idea what's going to be on the other side of it. There could be anything. It could be a homeless guy, it could be a group of kids on a field trip, it could be a dog walker with 10 dogs standing right there. It's a surprise every single time the elevator door opens. And every time you go out, you have to get in the elevator. There's no way around it, right? And so you do your best to control those environments. You do your best to be a step ahead, but crazy stuff happens in those environments. Is that ideal? No, sometimes it's beyond not ideal. It's horrible, right? You have a dog with dog reactivity problems and it opens up and there's a dog walker with 10 dogs. Oh man, and they're right there. You're like, oh crap, you know, that sucks. That's not ideal at all. But those things happen and you get out of those situations any way you need to. So I've scooped dogs up, I put them in a headlock and stuffed their head under my arm and run through all the people. I've done all kinds of stuff like, okay, sorry, oh God, I wasn't expecting you guys to be here, right? There's all kinds of things that you do in the moment that are less than ideal. And so when that happens, don't let her pitch a fit and get out of it, but say, if it happens once, then next time, chop up some steak and put it in the crate when you leave so that when you come back up, you go shove and give her a quick shove. Yeah, but you need something good, right? So once you know that, then you net, and then just give her a little push forward. You block her from backing up with the leash. You don't pull her with the leash. I say, you can't back up, and I go, go on, go on, go on, go on. And she'll flip around and get in there. Yay, what a good girl. Yeah, and so some of those things, that's not perfect, but it is what it is, right? And you're gonna have to deal with it in those circumstances. And there's a lot of those things in dog training, unfortunately. The better organized and the better we plan, the less of those things you'll have. And recognize that if you have the wrong dog, then those situations can be bad. Like you can give a dog a problem that you're going to have to then go back and fix. You can get bit by dogs. So in those sorts of circumstances, there's a possibility. If you train dogs past a casual dog training, it's different. If you have one dog and your goal is to train that one dog, you may go through your life without getting bit. If you're a dog trainer and you're going to put your hands on a lot of dogs, guess what? You're going to get bit. You will get bit by a dog if you do this for any length of time, positively, right? There's just no way around it. If you're smart, it doesn't happen very often. Most of them aren't very bad. It's more scary than it is bad, but that kind of stuff's going to happen, right? And so these are the kinds of places they do happen. So we always try to be a step ahead of that kind of thing, but that's just, you got to deal with it in the moment.